Good evening, I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11 Alive Weather Impact Team. It is Monday at 9 o'clock. We're doing this extended weather update for you here on this finally nice weather pattern that we are in. We have shifted from the constant hot weather, the constant muggy days, the constant days in a row of scattered showers and storms developing, and we finally had a front move through that's kind of cleared out that air mass and brought us a nice change here. And that change is, number one, cooler weather. Number two, drier weather. And when we're talking about drier weather, we're talking about more than just no rain. We're talking about lower humidity as well. And it's that lower humidity that made it feel more comfortable out there this morning. It was noticeable walking out the door this morning, and not only did it feel a little bit cooler with temperatures that moved down into the 60s, but it was that low humidity that made it feel even more refreshing. And the humidity levels are going to stay on the low end the next couple of days. And if you liked this morning's weather, you're going to love tomorrow morning's weather, because it is going to be even cooler out there tomorrow morning, with temperatures this morning that were at 68 degrees. Yeah, feeling pretty good here for the end of August. But in the morning, we're going to be at 63, about 5 degrees cooler here tomorrow morning. And then even some outlying areas may even see some temperatures in the 50s. Now, you'll notice here on the satellite and radar imagery, number one, as far as radar is concerned, we don't see any green showing up here on the maps at all. No rain. It looks like a couple of blips trying to get together there over in parts of Cleveland County, but most likely any raindrops there are not making it down to the ground. We do have a pretty good coverage of clouds moving in, but again, these are not the rain producers. In fact, if you go outside right now in Atlanta, you'll see some of those clouds that'll be blocking out the moon and the stars at this hour, but no real rain coming from those clouds. And the air at the surface is very dry. We do have some moisture content, though, up in the upper levels, and that's why we're seeing some of those clouds that are coming by. Really, most of the state is dry. The only place we've been watching rain today has been down in parts of South Georgia and along the coastal region, but a lot of that is now moving down into Florida, so they've actually cleared out a good bit in parts of South Georgia, but we just have this bit of cloud cover that's moving into our area for the nighttime hours. We're also watching this moisture back into Arkansas, trying to move into western Mississippi and also western Tennessee, but this is really light. And even as you can see here on this loop, this is a 2-hour loop, the concentration of this rain is starting to fall apart a little bit more, and we expect that that is still going to be the case as it moves across Mississippi, trying to get into Alabama, and it's not going to make it into Georgia. We're not expecting any rain to move into our area, but it's this feed of moisture that we're watching that will keep some of those clouds around for us overnight and also into the early morning hours tomorrow too. So this pattern is going to be really nice here for the next few days with the drier weather, lower humidity, no rain, temperatures a little on the cooler side, and sunshine mixing in with some of those clouds at times here during the day. All right, sorry about that, computer. That was the wrong thing showing up there. I was trying to show you our tower cam there from DeKalb County, but for some reason it reverted back to the screensaver. But this is Truist Park. Braves are not playing in Atlanta tonight. They played tonight in Miami against the Marlins. I swear, I think I just saw I think they just lost. I know this seems early at 9 o'clock, but that game may be over. Don't quote me with that, but I just saw an alert come over my phone. It may have been just a score update rather than the final. So anyway, it was 2-1 they were losing, so that could be a final there too. But if you are going to a game at Truist Park tonight, it'd be a pretty comfortable night out there with temperatures that are falling into the 70s. And again, not one of those muggy nights out there. So here's what we're watching really over the next few mornings. We're going to see cool mornings out there, and it's really going to be in that time frame between 4 in the morning and 9 in the morning. That's when we see that coolest air of the day. Now, normally our low temperature is usually right around sunrise, or maybe even a little bit after sunrise when we see our coolest temperatures of the day. So just know when you're stepping out tomorrow morning, it is going to be nice and comfortable. With those lows, that'll be in the lower 60s. That's in the city. That means in some suburbs, we're going to see temperatures that are going to be in the 50s, even more refreshing there. So is that cool enough maybe to add a light layer? I think most of us will be fine with shorts and short sleeves, but it might give you a little bit of a chill, and some folks might want to add a little extra layer if you're going to be outside for a longer period out there, because our bodies just aren't used to seeing temperatures this cool here at coming up to the end of August. Now look at this high temperature today in Atlanta. Made it up to 86 degrees. Our low this morning was 68. Now remember, it felt cool this morning, and it was. We were just a few degrees below average. 71 degrees is our average low for this time of year. But you would think, with it feeling so refreshing out there, it would have been cooler than that. And again, that's all because of that humidity giving us that nicer feel to the air. And even though it felt comfortable this afternoon, we were really only 2 degrees below the average. 88 is our average high for this time of year, so 86 just 2 degrees below that. We do think we will be lower tomorrow, most likely around 83 degrees for a high temperature tomorrow. So that would be 5 degrees below the average. And these morning temperatures tomorrow are going to be about 5 degrees lower too, getting down to about 63 here in the city. So feeling even cooler here by tomorrow morning. Now, will we be flirting with any records this week? The record low for today's date is 56. That was set in 1891. So, we were well above that. Now, in the morning, we're going to get down to 63. The record low for tomorrow is in the 50s again. So I don't think we'll break that record either. I don't think we'll even be close to that here in the Atlanta area. Now, of course, we could use some rain. It's going to be dry this week, so we're going to see these numbers going down. We'll actually go back to a deficit to below average rainfall for the year so far. But I think we deserve this little break that we're in right now. Here's a look at these temperatures we were watching today. I know this shows 69 for the low, but actually in between these hourlies, we hit 68 for the low temperature. Then we started rising during the day, getting up to, and again, this shows 85, but in between those hourlies, we hit 86 for our high temperature today. And if you like these temperatures, tomorrow's temperatures are going to be even lower. We're talking about 63 in the morning, 83 for high tomorrow. So that's going to be feeling really good out there. And watch how we were cooling here during the evening hours. Right now, we're in the mid 70s at 75 degrees, and still with that low humidity, that's feeling really good. Now, and even in Atlanta, we're one of the warmer spots here. We often call it the urban heat island. It takes our temperatures a little bit longer to cool off. We have all the buildings and concrete around. So it takes that warmer air a little longer to radiate out into the atmosphere. We also have those clouds around that are trying to hold in some of that warmth that we had today. But notice outside the city, we have some lower 70s right now in Peachtree City, 73, Covington and Athens. Carrollton, one of the cooler spots at 68. We have 69 in Canton. And then Blairsville, of course, a cooler spot, 62 degrees there up in the mountains, still with some of those clouds around too. Starting off in the morning at about 63 degrees, that's going to be really nice, but we will see a few of those clouds around. And then during the day, a mixture of sunshine and clouds, eventually getting up to around 82 degrees, which will be 5-6 degrees below average for this time of year. So we'll take it. We'll take it any time in August when we can get below average temperatures. Take a look at the forecast track. You can see here those arrows coming out of the north. That's reinforcing the cooler air. It's helping to bring in that drier air with that lower humidity. And really, that's going to be sticking with us for the next few days. Here you can see in the morning some of those clouds from that system out to the west. It's going to be falling apart. Again, this is not bringing us any rain, but it'll bring us another little wave of clouds there early in the morning. And it looks like those will break up pretty good to give us mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies here for the afternoon hours. This is at lunchtime in the afternoon, mostly sunny, not too bad out there. But even with that sunshine, it's not going to warm up that much. We'll be up to about 82, 83 degrees for a high temperature. And then on Wednesday, another cool start. We are thinking Wednesday morning, maybe the coolest morning of the week. Here in Atlanta, 60 degrees for a low temperature. And that'll mean a lot of you will be waking up with temperatures in the 50s in the suburbs. So enjoy that. Mostly sunny skies to partly cloudy skies here on your Wednesday. And then going into Thursday, maybe just a few more clouds build in here. Still temperatures trending below the average. Once we get into Friday, we are going to be watching a little system that's going to stream through that will give us the potential for a few isolated showers that could develop. But both models, or the main models, are not in agreement there on that rain chance. Here's a look at the moisture map. Look at the blue colors here, blues and purples, indicating that very dry air that's in place, and that's that lower humidity that we're experiencing. We've got that little system trying to come in, but it's drying out. A couple more clouds possible early tomorrow, then reinforcing dry air for Wednesday. Feeling really good there for Wednesday as well. Getting into Thursday, maybe a little more humidity building in and into Friday. Now we're right now including a very low chance for an isolated shower Friday. This model's trying to dry us out a little bit more and then bringing in a little more humidity going into the weekend. And we do see a mainly dry conditions here on Saturday. Then about a 20% chance for a shower on Sunday and also into Monday, but nothing really major coming in as far as rain. Now, here's a look at the dew points. This is the actual measure of how much moisture is in the atmosphere. This is actually our rain chances here. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday dry. Friday, we've got a 30% chance for a shower. Then on Saturday, we are mainly dry too. I want to go back to that dew point map. I think we just skipped over it. There we go. This is the actual measure of how much moisture is in our atmosphere. When you see dew points in the 50s, that's really comfortable air. And we had that today. We're going to have that tomorrow. We'll have it Wednesday. But notice here toward the end of the week and the weekend, that's when those chances, that's when the moisture content in the air is going to start coming back up, where we see just a little bit of moisture that'll be moving in. Here again is a look at that rain chance at about 30% on Friday. And then the low temperatures. This is really the day part where you will notice those improvements in our air mass. These temperatures are great. 63 for a low Tuesday morning, 60 on Wednesday morning. That means more of us in the outlying areas will see those temperatures in the 50s. And then 62 Thursday, 63 Friday, and also Saturday morning. And remember, average low for this time of year is 71, so that's still well below the average. And look at these highs. Yeah, that's looking nice with the temperatures that are well below the average. 88 is where we should be this time of year. We're talking 82, 83 throughout the period. So here's a look at the forecast track and the extended European model, showing here that the dry conditions to end up the week. Once we get into Friday, this is the model that's showing that chance for a few of those isolated showers here on Friday and then clearing out. Now it's trying to show a little bit on the south side on Saturday. And then on Sunday, we do go back to a 20% chance for a shower. Same thing on Monday. But really this moisture you're seeing here on this map is just a few of those isolated spotty showers that could move on through. Hey, here's an update on Tropical Storm Fernand. This is a tropical storm that's out in the Atlantic. Here's Bermuda right there, all right? So this storm is well to the east of Bermuda, and it's going to move up toward the north and to the east and really fall apart. Now here's a look at some of the specifics. 60-mile-per-hour winds moving north-northeast at 14 miles an hour. Once it moves up into this area, it's really going to just fall apart here as it's going to lose tropical characteristics. And so by Wednesday overnight, really nothing there. If you'll recall, we were watching another system down in the Caribbean over the weekend. And at one point, the National Hurricane Center was giving it about a 50 to 60% chance of developing, but it really moved into an environment that's less conducive for tropical development there with a lot of shear in the atmosphere. So today they gave it a 0% chance of developing. We'll keep an eye on that area of disturbed weather down there in the Caribbean just in case something happens and it ramps back up. But right now, the National Hurricane Center not overly concerned about it. And really, Fernand is the only thing we're watching out there. And we will check back with it as it dies out and then see if anything else develops. We are getting closer to the peak of hurricane season. The statistical peak of hurricane season is on September 10th. And right now, nothing major going on out there. We are not complaining about that. So here's that 7-day outlook where you can see those conditions that are cooler than average, drier conditions. We just have that low rain chance coming in on Friday at 30%. And again, we'll be tweaking those percentages. Right now, Saturday looks dry, then a low rain chance Sunday and Monday, still with those temperatures even into next week that are going to be well below the average, and about 80 degrees for highs on Sunday and Monday. And again, those mornings looking and feeling great there in the 60s and even some 50s in some of the suburbs. Thanks for watching this extended weather update here on 11 Alive Plus and Weather Impact 24/7. We'll have another update for you tonight on 11 Alive News at 11, and then more updates throughout the day tomorrow. We hope you have a great night. Thanks for watching.